Hey guys, I was hoping you guys could help me figure out why my ESCs will not boot up in sync. And that means even when I try and calibrate them so they will be in sync, they do not boot up remotely in sync. Essentially, and this guy will all boot up and do their calibration dealy, and this one is just a little bit behind. And when they sync up during the calibration, it sounds like they're pretty close, but they're not quite. And then after that point, every time you start up, all three will start in unison, and this guy will be lagging behind significantly. Then I think it will still fly in this sort of situation, but it doesn't fly very well. It's kind of unstable. And then when I check the motor statuses on clean flight, they're all kind of throttling up at slightly different rates when they should be, level and more or less the same. I'm going to try and demonstrate what I'm experiencing right now. So I go over here to the motors page, and I understand that props are a bad idea when you're doing this, and go ahead and I jack the motors up to full. It's worth noting that my radio, which is using an FR Sky, doesn't quite reach 2K. I just kind of threw it in that range just to make sure that I'm getting all the ESCs. For some reason, the radio only goes up to like 1,890 or something. It's not quite 2K. I'll sort that out once I get the ESCs synced, and that might even actually be my problem. I don't know. Okay, so I've got that set all the way up, and I'm gonna go plug this in. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, as you saw, there was some difference in between the reboots. So now let's see what we have here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this again. And I'm going to plug this in again with the throttles at 0 so we can see what's happening with the reboot. And there it goes, that last one is always a little bit behind. And now when we go over here and throttle everything up to see what happens, take it to 1028, it's like the minimum. Those two back there jiggling a little bit, and these aren't doing anything. And I've calibrated all the ESCs to have the same sort of setup on their firmware. And let's go ahead and just give it some more throttle. So we're at 1044. Everything is moving. This one is kind of clicking along, and the guy that's late to the party isn't doing anything. And we're going to give it even more throttle. Let's go. Alright, and now everything is spinning. We're at 1141. So everything does spin up. That's the weird thing. It's just not everything is quite in sync. And if I do the radio test where I'm controlling via the receiver, everything looks a little bit uglier than it is now. So yeah, I'm really confused. I've actually been dealing with this issue for a long time. I actually had the entire quad working, crashed it, rebuilt it, and then when I reassembled everything, I started having this ESC issue. I actually swapped out ESCs as well, and for some reason I kept getting the same problem. I swapped out my power distribution board. I even swapped out my nays. So right now it's probably either the receiver or the motor, but I'm pretty sure I actually swapped the motor out too. So I really just put this whole thing on the back burner until recently when the weather got a little bit nicer. I decided I want to start flying again, and I need to sort this out before I can do that. Anyway, thank you.